welcome back to my channel, Open the Door. This is episode 144. The battles you don't see coming. Today I'm opening the door to spiritual warfare. The hardest part of healing isn't the pain that you experience. It's the resistance that you don't see coming. Because when you start to heal, something pushes back. It doesn't mean that you're failing. It actually means that you're changing and growing and learning and evolving. But let me define here what I'm talking about when I say spiritual warfare. This episode isn't about demons or darkness hunting you down, although for some that is part of the reality. But this episode is about both external and internal resistance, relational shifts, and spiritual discomforts that surface when you cross the threshold towards your healing. The war you don't see coming is the conflict between who you were conditioned to be and who you're becoming. And sometimes, as I said, the battles can come from external sources. So internally, for us personally, here's what the war can look like. Doubt showing up right after you receive clarity. Old wounds flaring and reopening when you felt the scar already forming and healing. People reacting when you start performing the old roles that were assigned and you begin to set boundaries. You may have sudden urges to just quit the healing work and return to the easier old ways of self. And you most likely will feel isolated and at the same time feel a need to isolate yourself. That normally happens right before a big jump in the ascension process in the spiritual journey. If you felt any of these things, you're not broken. You're standing at the threshold. Here's some keys of how to unlock the door, cross the threshold into this battleground of the spiritual journey. So as I point out in most of my episodes, the first step is awareness. So to move through, hold on, I have watering. To move through this internal spiritual battle that's going on, it starts with awareness, which is mindfulness, staying as much as you can in the present moment or being aware of your thoughts and feelings within each moment. It takes practice. Another key and step that you can take to deal with this internal spiritual battle is grounding over bypassing. So grounding yourself through daily practices and even in the moment as needed throughout your day. Bypassing is, oh, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm just going to keep it moving. No, sometimes we need to take a few moments, recenter, and ground ourselves. Another key to working through this internal spiritual battleground is to set boundaries and maintaining those boundaries without explanations. Stand your ground after you've made a choice and set boundaries. And this choice is what's best for you. It shouldn't be up for conversation or debate. Discernment is really important as you're working through these spiritual battles internally. So you've got to kind of tap into the discernment over your self-doubt. Trust your inner knowing. Follow your gut feeling and your intuition. That's always going to lead you to the truth. You don't win this internal war by attacking yourself. You win it by staying present, maintaining daily practices, setting and holding boundaries, using discernment, and trusting your intuition. So that had to do with ourselves personally in the internal battleground. Now I'm going to talk about the outside forces that you don't see coming. Because not all resistance comes from inside you. Some of it comes from people who are uncomfortable with who you're becoming. Negative intentions, negative energy, and unconscious interference are all aspects of how this external spiritual battle can manifest itself. So more specifically, I'm going to give you a little list here of how this external spiritual battle could show up through others. The first one is an unconscious projection. People project their unhealed wounds onto you. Your growth is mirroring to them what they avoid. And then they're projecting onto you this discomfort that they're actually feeling internally over unhealed wounds within them. This projection can show up as criticism, sarcasm, dismissiveness, or even a false sense of concern that feels off. So keep in mind that projection isn't about you. It's about what your healing is stirring within others. Drippy eye. It's spring is coming. Okay, number 2. The way these outside forces can show up as a spiritual battleground would be energetic entanglement. So being around people who are deregulated, resentful, or emotionally chaotic can drain your positive energy and make it tougher for you to stay on your path. If you've had interactions with others and you leave feeling drained, foggy, or doubting yourself, then this is an indication that this is probably a situation and or people that you should probably avoid. Absorbing emotional states that aren't yours is another way that this external spiritual battleground can show up. So using the grounding techniques I've talked about, using meditations, cleansing your energy regularly, every day, sometimes a couple times a day, can help rid you of external energies that can attach. Another way that external spiritual battle can show up is through subtle ill intent from others, but without drama. So this can look like passive-aggressive comments, undermining you disguised as advice, conversations that leave you feeling smaller than when you arrived, and people who are rooting for your comfort, not your evolution. Oh, you did great. Yeah, when you were doing that other thing, maybe you should just keep doing that. No, follow you know your truth. Follow your path. Another way that this external spiritual battle shows up is through spiritual envy and identity threat. I had to read that for a second. As I said, your healing is going to disrupt unhealed aspects of others. And it also is going to disrupt the old dynamics of your relationship with others as well. You're no longer playing this assigned role that you had in the past before you began your healing process. And as we heal and evolve and remove these old layers, a fresher, newer version of us does emerge, and that can make a lot of people uncomfortable. They want the comfort and familiarity of who you used to be, and it's unsettling to see you standing so strong. And what happens is others begin to feel destabilized when you stop needing their validation and constant attention. So here's how to protect yourself without going to war against these external spiritual battles. Again, awareness. Awareness is the first boundary. You don't need to fight energy. You need to notice it. Discernment, intuition. Trust patterns, not explanations of what you notice with your interactions with other people. Watch how your body responds after interactions with others. Confusion after a conversation is often a clue to energetic interference. Your energetic hygiene is important, so keep that going. Limit emotional access to others who are consistently negative. Ground after having heavy interactions with these type of people, and then clear your field of their energy. You can do that through intentions, but also through physical things like getting in touch with nature, grounding to the earth, taking a salt bath, burning candles, and setting intentions by looking into the flame. Those are just a few examples. This isn't about blaming others or seeing enemies everywhere. It's about discernment, not suspicion. Healing will sharpen your awareness. It doesn't isolate you in fear. It makes you more aware and sharpens your intuition and your discretion. So use those. Those are important tools. Before I close this out, here's a few prompts for you to put in your journal for those of you who are keeping journals. Where have you noticed resistance showing up in your life after phases of growth? Who became uncomfortable when you changed? And what part of you is asking to be protected and not fixed? As you move forward on your healing journey and spiritual path, you gain strength and wisdom, increased intuition and discernment, and these are the tools that help you to do battle with whatever comes your way. This is our episode for today, the spiritual battleground. Don't lose hope. It's all part of the process. It's expected. Take good care of yourselves. Keep doing those daily practices. I'll see you again very soon. In the meantime, I wish you peace, love, and light. Have a great day. And that's it for now. Bye.